This video is intended for historical education purposes only. The historical firearms featured are being used in controlled settings under the supervision of trained professionals, and this content follows all platform guidelines. I have never filmed a video shooting an M1 Garand at the range. Out of all the videos that I've filmed, taking it apart and using it in reenactments and everything else, I've never just taken it to the range and shot it. That ends today. Now, don't mistake that. That doesn't mean that I've never shot an M1 Garand at the range. I have plenty of times. It's just that I've never made a video about it. So today, I'll be telling you about this particular rifle here, which is special for reasons that I'll explain. I'll be using some World War II era manuals to prepare for my time at the range. Then we'll go to the range, I'll sight in this M1 here and we'll have some fun shooting it. Then I'm hoping to shoot one of the courses of fire prescribed in the 1943 manual for the M1 Garand and see how I do. This rifle was originally made in May of 1944 by Springfield Armory. As with pretty much all M1s that have seen military use, this one has been rebuilt and updated over the years, but thankfully it still has a ton of World War II era parts on it. We can see that this M1 has a milled trigger guard. That's the style that was used on most M1s made during World War II. This rifle does have some post-war features like these T105 style sights. But like I showed in past videos, these are super easy to swap out for World War II lock bar sights if you wanted to. It just depends on what you want to use the rifle for. The rifle has the later style World War II gas cylinder lock screw. This type of screw was introduced during World War II and it has a poppet valve enclosed in it. This was designed for use with the M7 grenade launcher because if you're using your M1 Garand to launch rifle grenades, it can build up pressure in the barrel that's higher than you would experience when you're just firing normal rounds. So they came out with this new style of lock screw that automatically disengages the gas system when you mount a rifle grenade launcher and re-engages it when you take the launcher off. It's a pretty neat design if you ask me. This rifle has a beautiful black walnut stock, which is the type used during World War II, and it even has some of the cartouches stamped on the side of it. This rifle has a barrel that was made by Springfield Armory in 1965. The barrel's in great shape and I'm hoping that'll help me out on the range today. And best of all, in my opinion, this rifle is in great shape. The stock looks nice, the receiver has very little pitting and it looks like it has its original finish. Even my personal M1 Garand that I use for reenacting and stuff has a receiver that is pitted and has been re-parkerized over the years. I love that rifle for what it is, but this World War II M1 definitely has a better finish on it than the one I own. Considering the condition and the features of this rifle, I think that this would be great for a reenactor, a collector, or a shooter. This would look great on display. It is a collector's item for sure, but also you won't feel guilty taking it to the range. It was built to be shot after all. So now that we've covered the rifle itself, let me quickly go through a couple of the World War II era manuals that I'm using to prepare for my time at the range today. The two manuals that I have are the basic field manual for the US Rifle Caliber 30 M1. This is published by the War Department in 1943. And the Infantry Journal's How to Shoot the U.S. Army Rifle, which was also published in 1943. Both of these are booklets that soldiers would have used during World War II. This field manual has a lot more technical detail about, qualification shooting and marksmanship shooting rules, all kinds of stuff like that. This infantry journal book is a bit lighter reading. It has a lot of pictures in it and demonstrations. And it's also more lighthearted. There's some jokes in there and stuff, which I really find funny. Both of these have great information on shooting the M1 Garand rifle. If you own an M1, I highly recommend getting a copy of these or finding a copy online. I'm sure they're uploaded somewhere. Some of the things in here that'll help me on the range today are the recommended sling positions. So I don't have a sling on here right now. I'll throw one of mine on before I go to the range, but there are different ways you can use your rifle sling to support your rifle while you're shooting and give you a little extra stability. The two methods described in here are the loop sling and the hasty sling. They say that the loop sling gives better adjustment but takes longer to do. And the hasty sling is easier. You kind of just shove your arm through the loop and you're ready to go. The manuals also include different shooting positions, including prone, sandbag rest, sitting, kneeling, squatting, and more. Standing. I plan on using the descriptions and pictures in there to try out all those different positions at the range, and some of those positions are referenced in the courses of fire that are recommended for training in the basic field manual. Some of those courses of fire from this booklet include a 50-foot slow fire course. So that's gives you the range, the number of shots, and a few different positions to try out. And the booklet goes through a bunch of different courses that are different ranges, different positions, and different rates of fire. I'm going to choose one of these once I get there, since honestly, this is the first time I've been to this range. I don't know what kind of distances they have set up, whether I'll only be able to put my target at 50 yards or 50 feet or 100 yards. So once I see what the setup is and what positions I can reasonably use there, I'll pick one of these courses of fire and see how I do. These booklets also cover a bunch of other things like weapon maintenance and tips and tricks for shooting the rifle, how to reload it, everything like that that you could want to know. One thing I really like about my copy of the book is it actually had a soldier's notes and calculations tucked into the pages, and it still has the stamps and book slips from when it was issued during World War II. Without any further ado, let's take this baby to the range and see what she can do. I didn't plan for that to rhyme. I didn't like write a poem for this or anything, but it just worked out that way. Let's go to the range. All right, guys, here we are at the range. Got my rifle set up on this tripod that they were kind enough to lend me so I could use it to sight this in before we try some different shooting positions from that manual I was talking about. Today we're shooting standard Lake City caliber 30 M2 ball. Doesn't get much better than that, guys. Lake City Freedom Pills. I believe these ones were made in 1968. And these are the same ones, if you saw that video where I was unboxing an unopened can full of ammo, these are the ones from that video. So let's see how they do. I've shot a couple of these before and they did really well for me. I think we're gonna start with some single shots to get it sighted in and move on from there. We're set up here at 50 yards, so a shorter distance. Hopefully we can put some shots on paper right away and then zero it in from there. So let's just get started and see how we do. I'm going to be single loading the first few while we get this sighted in, but I've got some loaded end blocks to use once we get on to more of the rapid shooting drills and stuff like that. Let's see if that one hit paper. All right, guys, it looks like we hit just a little bit low left. These are supposed to be reactive targets, but I could barely even see the bullet hole when it went through that black area. So let's make a couple little adjustments to our sights. We are going to increase the elevation just a little bit, and we'll adjust the windage just a hair. Round number 2 of the day, going down range. Let's see how we do. All right. Let's send another. I got one more in my pocket, so let's shoot that too. And then maybe we'll go take a look at the target. All right, why don't we go have a look? All right, guys, so we were hitting the paper there. I guess I see a little bit of reactivity from the target, but it's still hard to see even with the binoculars from back there, so we had to walk up. We have an okay grouping with those last 4 shots. Fine, especially for at 50 yards, nothing to write home about. But it looks good. I think I need to walk it towards the center a little bit here, and then we'll start trying some other stuff once we're hitting the center of the target. All right, I made some slight adjustments to the sight. Hopefully we can get it a little closer to the center. I don't need to be hitting bullseyes every time, but why don't we throw a full end block in there and see how we do? All right, first end block through the gun. Let's see if we hit anything. All right, guys, after that first end block, we do have a bit of a grouping going on, and it did move a little towards the center. It looks like I could still use a little more adjustment. I might make a couple tweaks before we start this next section, but while I'm down here, we're gonna slap a new target up. We still might take a couple shots at this one, but I'm gonna try some different shooting positions now, try the sling positions recommended in the manual, and get into some more fun stuff. All right, next up, I'm gonna try shooting some offhand. This is what we came to see, right? Let's get my loop sling going on here. So to do that, I'm gonna loop my arm through here, and it's kind of awkward to set up. I see why they recommend the hasty sling for quick situations, but they said this one will give me the most support. So we shall see about that. Tough to do this while pointing the gun down range, but not trying to flag anyone here. They emphasize putting it high up on your arm. So let's get it up there. All right. Tighten that down. And then I should just be able to wrap my wrist under it like this. Oh yeah, that gets it nice and tight into my shoulder. And I'll take a couple shots like that. Let's load up another end block of M2 ball and see how she does. Oh, come on. I hate when that happens. It's not my first rodeo. Come on, buddy. Let's get you in there. Inside you. Okay, now we got it. Didn't even have to bump it on that one. That was perfect. All right, I'm shooting at the left target now. It's so easy to see how much you shake when you look down those sights. Love the peep sight on these M1 Garands though. Can't do much better than this as far as iron sights go. That definitely pulled off to the side. That was me. Shaking and shimmering here. This is my first time doing the loop sling, and I gotta say, it's not the most comfortable thing. Let's go see a very mediocre, at least I'm assuming, target grouping. That was a little tougher than shooting from that tripod, that's for sure. I kind of hate shooting offhand for that reason, but it is what it is. I'll be surprised if all of those hit the target. I'll be surprised if most of those hit the target. Let's put it that way. But I think it's good that we did this one first, and that way when I go to sitting and kneeling and stuff, hopefully my performance will only improve. Oh, well, we hit the target. We hit the target a couple times. This one was good. I feel like I know which one that was. And the rest of them, let's see, how many do we have on paper? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, they all hit paper, so that's a lot better than I expected. But come on, I mean, a target of that size at 50 yards, that's not too much of an accomplishment shooting at a slow pace like that offhand, but I'll take it. All right, guys, well, I just might be Nostradamus the way that I predicted I would have a mediocre grouping, and then I did. So let's see if we can improve on that in the kneeling position here. Still have the sling in that loop sling, they call it, position, high up around my bicep there, and I'll be in the kneeling position prescribed in the manual. I'm hoping that this will lead to a much better grouping and will bolster my confidence before we move into the next segment. Ooh, no slap again. That's a good omen. I pulled that one. All right, that felt better. I definitely pulled a couple of those off to the side, which was just me doing a bad job. I haven't been shooting in a while, and I definitely have a little bit of flinch in my squeeze there, which is not great. Hopefully we can see these new impacts. I did tape over the impact from last time, at least most of them. Okay. Well, we have 2 more directly in the bullseye, which tells me that I probably did a great job sighting the rifle in, and that the rest of them are just me doing a bad job at shooting. We do have a tighter group. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. And then one of these on the outside. I didn't tape over those ones on the outside. One of those is new, and I would assume that's the one that I said, oh, I pulled that off to the side because I just flinched really bad for some reason on that one. The rest of these are looking okay. That was definitely a better shooting position. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, next up is the squatting position. This one seems like it was designed by the devil himself because I have terrible knees and this is already hurting. I've been here about 5 seconds. I'm not the Slav squat type who can sit here all day. So let's get this over with. I'm gonna do 4 rounds of this and then move to the sitting position. So I'll start on the left target, 4 rounds of this, right target, 4 rounds of sitting. Oh, look at that, smooth as butter. All right, left target, 4 rounds. Now for the much more comfortable sitting position. Okay, I think I might have actually done better on the squatting one than sitting, but the targets don't lie. Let's see what they say. What a beautiful day to be shooting an M1 Garand. One of you guys is gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. It's gonna be sad when I have to say goodbye to it and ship it off, but whoever gets this thing is lucky, I'll tell you that. All right, on the left target here, that was squatting. It looks like we have 1 right here, and then it looks like 2 really close, and I can't see where the 4th one went. Oh, it's this one right here. So that's not terrible. Could have been better. Bug just flew directly into my mouth. Could have been better. This one we were a little more spread out, mostly up and down on that one. It looks like we had the horizontal axis hammered down and not so much the vertical. But I kind of felt that in that position. Maybe it's just because it's hot out here and I'm sweating, but I felt like trying to rest on my knee. My arm was slowly sliding down while I was shooting as I would kind of tense up. Maybe that's what the problem was. I was tensing up too much. But hey, these 2 right here, you can't do much better than that. I thought the squatting position, like I said, was a bit uncomfortable, but I did feel pretty supported in my upper body. I was just sitting on the balls of my feet kind of though. So the recoil from that really pushed me around and it took a bit to get settled again after each shot. All right guys, next up, I'm gonna run a course of fire. This is table 4 in the manual. It's a slow fire course. So this will be at 50 yards where we're set up. 10 rounds from the prone position with the loop sling. I wasn't gonna do the prone position separately. I think we've all seen that one before. 15 shots, 5 of which are from kneeling, 5 sitting, and 5 squatting. And then there are 10 more shots. Those ones are standing offhand with the loop sling. So let's shoot that course and see how many we can put on paper. That'll be 25 shots total, so I'll have to grab a couple end blocks here. All right, let's kick it off here. It's an odd number of rounds, so I'm gonna start with a single shot, then load an end block, and keep going. This is a slow fire exercise, so there's no time limit, but I'll try to move through it at a reasonable pace anyway. All right, let's get started. Prone is kind of awkward with the loop sling here. It's super tight in this position if I try to go straight on, and then it would be loose in the other positions if I loosened it up. So I'll just make do with it. Five kneeling. Five sitting. Blew that one. Five squatting. My favorite position. Not really. Almost lost my balance there. All right, guys, I grabbed some more end blocks. I think I might have even said this is 25 rounds total at some point. That'll be 25 shots total. 10 plus 10 plus 15 is 35, not 25. So now I have 10 more rounds. I'll have to single load 2 of them, and then we'll get these last 10 rounds on the paper. All right, round 1. This is 10 rounds total, standing fire. Definitely didn't hit the paper on that one. All right, I'm gonna try to go pretty quickly on these last ones. Again, it's a slow fire exercise, but where's the fun in that? We've been doing slow fire all day. And there we are, a course of fire from the 1943 M1 Garand manual. A lot of brass on the floor here, a graveyard of old surplus ammo. Some people, when I unboxed that ammo in a video, were really upset that I was going to be shooting it and said that it was a collector's item. But there's much more of a shooting market for that ammo than there is for collecting. There's not a lot of people collecting 1968 ammo that are willing to pay enough for it to make it worth not shooting it. Oh yeah, we got a lot of hits on the target here. I see one that clearly did not hit the target, but hey, that's all right. We got plenty of hits on paper. Nobody's gonna be giving me any awards for that grouping right there. If that was a German soldier and I was a paratrooper in Europe, he'd be having a pretty bad day right now, even if I was doing standing fire. So a lot of rounds on the target. I'm gonna count them up and let you know how many there are. Looks like only 29 on paper.
Bad aim, bad aim, bad aim. Really bad, really bad.
Not my best showing, but we still had fun. That's what's important. I will never get tired of shooting M1 Garands. Patton said that this is the greatest battle implement ever devised, but people always forget the next part of that when he said it's also the most fun shooting range toy ever devised. which is equally as true. Well, that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, because I sure know I had a lot of fun. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.